Thank you for joining us on the Monday afternoon segment. Here our guest, my co-host Connie O'Day, will be announcing our guest today speaker. So go ahead, Connie.
Well, good afternoon. And first of all, before we get started with the program, I would like to take just a second to remember all of our dear friends in Texas, Houston, and all of the other counties around Houston that are suffering so badly now with the terrible Hurricane Harvey and all the flooding. So I hope you all will hold them in your hearts. And the governor today said the best thing that people can do is to pray for them, because it's going to take quite a few years before they're ever going to get back to any kind of real normality. So I hope that you will hold them in your heart and do pray for them. Thank you. Now today we are honored to have two wonderful ladies from the American Legion Auxiliary, and did I say it correctly? American Legion Auxiliary?
Yes.
Okay. And they are, the American Legion Auxiliary is the largest women's patriotic organization in the United States and in some foreign countries. And it was founded in 1919. So they've got a lot of wonderful things to tell us. This is our president over here. This is President Mary Alt of the Auxiliary here in Stockton. And next to me is Mary Adame. She is the vice president, first vice president, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I'm going to turn the show over to them. And first of all, I would like for you to start telling us, what is the Women's Auxiliary?
Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and field that one, Mary.
All righty. Good afternoon. This is Mary Adame, and I'm a member of Karl Ross Unit 16, and Mary Alt as well. And the Ladies Auxiliary is a patriotic organization, and it's a little history. It's been in existence since 1919. Okay, where are my notes?
It's always good to have your notes. It's so hard to remember everything all the time.
I think she threw you off a little bit because she went into the history of it. And we
okay.
We thought we were
All right.
in the beginning.
All right.
So you got it. Just off the
Okay.
off the cuff.
Off the cuff. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So the Ladies Auxiliary is for veterans and their families, and also for the members of the Ladies Auxiliary. And what we do is we have fundraisers and to help veterans and whatever they need. For instance, during the holidays, sometimes, most of the veterans are elderly, so they have no family members. So we are their family. So during Christmas and Thanksgiving, we have dinners for them, and we talk to them, and the youth from the community, they come and help serve and talk to them as well. And it's been in existence, like I already said, 1919, and it's worldwide. It's a worldwide organization, and we have nearly 1 million members.
Can't do my hand.
800,000 for now, and we are expanding.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. We were going to talk about our officers of the American Legion Auxiliary. Even though I am the president of the American Legion Auxiliary, we need our board of members, our executive board of members, and our regular board of members. Without them, we could not exist and function like the ALA does. I am the president of the American Legion, and I have the main duty for me is to requires strict adherence to the Constitution and the bylaws, and of course be at every meeting if and whenever possible. Sometimes I may not be able to be there, but 98% of the time I am, and I'll slow down. Okay, and so that's the president, and I appoint all non-elected officers and then perform duties which are assigned to my office. We also have our unit vice president, and she completes the development of the unit program. And
Hold on, not too far. What do you mean by unit program? So
the unit program is our American Legion Auxiliary Unit 16.
That's here in Stockton.
In Stockton, California.
Okay.
And the vice president is always prepared to preside at the meetings in the absence of the president. We have a second vice president who basically does what the unit vice president does in her absence, or she's also got a couple of other co-programs like Americanism, which we're trying to establish more to be part of our ALA.
Now, what is the
American Legion Auxiliary.
Okay.
You're abbreviating, okay.
ALA. The acronym ALA is referring to American Legion Auxiliary.
Perfect.
Okay. We have a unit secretary. The unit secretary is the hub of the wheel, so to speak. She takes all the minutes. Mm-hmm. She keeps permanent records of all our minutes. She knows all the bylaws, basically, and if she doesn't know it off the top of her head, she refers to a book that I have, and she is my right-hand girl. She knows everything about our ALA, plus she's been a member for a long time. We have our treasurer. She needs to be accountable for all our money that comes in and all our money that goes out. And we have an exceptional treasurer at our at our ALA Unit 16. She also maintains a permanent file for the unit. We have a unit historian recently who resigned, but she records all the activities and accomplishments of her unit during her terms of office. Before we came in here, we looked at a beautiful book that Mary Adame put together regarding our Vietnam Wall, and she does a lot of that through the years that I've known her to be part of the ALA, and she records all of our events and things that are going on at the Karl Ross Post ALA. We have our chaplain. It takes a special person to be a chaplain because she provides spiritual and emotional guidance to our members, as well as reaching into the community of the members of our ALA in the event of a death, of hard times, just thinking of the person. We want to always lend our support and let them know they're not forgotten. We are there for them whenever possible. And with our current unit chaplain is great at that. And then the sergeant-at-arms, we always imagine sergeant-at-arms being this big burly person. Well, sergeant-at-arms are little Mary Lou Reyes, but she knows exactly what to do, how to run a meeting, how to set up for the meeting, how to bring our guests in to whenever we have guests. She announces them and she escorts them in and goes through the proper process of introducing a guest. So all of these ladies, basically about 4 or 5 of them, are like archives of information. Without them, we would not be able to function, I don't think, because they know so much stuff that I wouldn't even know where to begin. And if I need to find out about something, I can go to any of them and find out what I need to know. They can offer me that information. Now, I believe Mary went through the history, and so did you, of the ALA. So I would just like to read basically our mission statement, and I do have that available right here. It's not very long, it's very short, but nonetheless, it's an integral part of our American Legion Auxiliary.
We need to slow down.
And I will, okay, all right. Mission statement.
Okay, go ahead.
In the spirit of service, not self, the mission of the American Legion Auxiliary is to support the American Legion and to honor the sacrifice of those who serve by enhancing the lives of our veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad. For God and country, we advocate for veterans, educate our citizens, mentor youth, and promote patriotism, good citizenship, peace, and security. We also have purposes, but I think we will identify those purposes as we identify some of the things that we do through the American Legion Auxiliary. Okay, and I guess I'll go on to what the ALA has done in the past. And we have to have fundraisers. As you know, with any organization, no matter what it is, you have to have a sustainability. You have to always have income coming in, because there's always income going out, expenses going out.
Right.
So
that's very true.
So we have I think we have 132 members.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and of those members, they kind of support us from outside of the American Legion Auxiliary. Not all of them can be at every meeting we have on a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. So we have a core group basically that takes care of this. And we are a very active American Legion Auxiliary, and we do a lot with a small number of ladies that volunteer, and they are amazing.
They are very amazing.
They are, with people's different personalities and input on decorating and ideas on having opportunity drawings, or just the ideas. We put them all together, and we can put a function together very nicely. Thank goodness we work well together. Some of the fundraisers are, we have an annual tea luncheon. It's a ladies' tea luncheon. We just had our 5th one in April of this year. It's a very successful activity.
Hold on. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So when you have those functions and events, have a lot of people in the community know that you exist? Do you invite the community of the woman?
Yes.
American
Legion Auxiliary, ALA.
I don't have to spell it. ALA.
ALA.
It's support, and the community has support you. Has that been successful or anything?
We announce on the radio.
Oh, radio, okay.
We make flyers and pass them out to anybody who will accept them. We tell our family and friends. And yes, we do reach out into the community if and whenever possible to advertise our events, because we do want the community to make...
You can come on our show to do so.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We also, so that event in itself is very successful, and every year it gets not a little more competitive in terms of the tables being set up. Each one is more beautiful
I
than the
attended
next.
one of your teas a couple of years ago, and can you tell our audience how the ladies each take a table, a group takes a table, and how they set up their table, what they put on the tables, and so forth? And
yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and it can take anywhere. We have anywhere between 6 to 10 people at a table, and you can request a square table, or you can request a round table for your settings, for your place settings. For those of us that have been involved in the tea for a couple of years, we buy our dishes in advance. Like my person and myself, we buy our plates that we know we can versify them or make them different each time that we set up every year. We will use like a purple tablecloth. We will use a yellow tablecloth. We'll go with a color scheme. The first year that I was involved in it, I made a Hello Kitty one for my granddaughter. And it was a Hello Kitty tea, and she
like
loved
the cat,
it.
Right? Hello Kitty, right?
Hello Kitty, like the cat, exactly. We did. I made the tablecloth with Hello Kitty figures. We did pink and white plates, and other ladies are more sophisticated. This one here had a beautiful one. Mary did. Was it a Christmas theme or a gift theme? You had bears and stuffed animals, or on yours?
I had bunnies.
Bunnies, okay, bunnies. A lot of bunnies. She had a bunny table. It was adorable. So everybody's got different ideas. We have one lady that's very sophisticated. She does the gold and the black, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
So in that tea group, you have it's like a team work for each one particular table, and you come up with a theme, and you decorate your own team table, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
You got it. That's
well,
exactly right.
Like when I went, we had I think we had 8 people at our
Okay.
table, and each one of the ladies brought their own china
Yeah.
set, their silverware, their teacups, and water glasses. And in the middle, we had a beautiful orchid flower arrangement. And it was very nice, and we all came dressed like
Formal
you're
dress?
going. Oh yeah,
Like
well
a
not
tea.
formal to the ground formal, but semi-formal, and some wore hats.
Yes. Hats.
And regular things that you would do for a woman's tea. Very elegant
Oh, wow.
and very fun. Yes.
And one of our things that we order cookies from outside of, actually we don't even buy them in Stockton because we found these adorable cookies outside of Stockton that we order every year. We just love them. They just melt in your mouth, those sugar cookies. They were delicious. But yeah, every table is unique, and every ALA member is the hostess to that table and has her guests at her table. So that kind of covers the tea.
Well, that's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what other event
It's a
that-
very nice event.
Okay,
Okay,
well, what's the next event?
The next one is our luau. The luau was a lot of fun. We try to involve our children, like with the hula hoop contest. We give them little prizes. What else do we do with the luau? We decorate it beautifully. The way the decorations came out this year were gorgeous, and we try to. We're always on a budget, so we're always trying to find different ways to decorate our tables on a budget. And we always manage to do really well. We had a lot of fun with it. I think it was really nice and bright and fun. And what else did we do at the luau? We had
Dancers.
we had our dancers. Our Polynesian dancers were amazing. In fact, we were just really blessed to have them this year because it was really hard to find them because we had the Filipino Center had their program going on that weekend, and there were other events going on requiring Polynesian dancers, and we were just blessed to find this group. And as it turned out, they actually have competed, and they were very good and have won awards.
Oh,
And so
my,
we were
yes.
blessed to have them perform at our event. So again, we had the roasted pig, tons of food.
Oh, you had a roasted pig?
We had a roasted pig.
Oh, my God. How
Yeah.
how did it taste? Taste different?
It was delicious.
From the store? Or just
No,
fresh?
no, we hired some. Not that fresh. We hired somebody that bakes the pig, that knows how to bake it underground. And
they baked it in the ground?
then they bake it there. They baked it wherever they bake it.
Okay.
And then they brought it all dressed and ready to go. And then we cut it up there. We had a photo booth, so you could take pictures of your family, of you and your family. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's
Now,
wonderful.
that's a charge for that to go to it.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's open to the public.
Yes, it is. Again, we advertise like we advertise for the tea. We advertise for the luau as well on the radio, our flyers, word of mouth, Facebook. Facebook's got a lot to do with it, and just putting on your Facebook, my Facebook, or putting it out as an event.
Right.
We'll put it out as an event so they know about it.
Perfect. The only thing I have a question for people
Yes.
who are not, whose family are not a veteran, but they know somebody a veteran, can they join to your group? How is your PR representing the veteran can support your organization cause?
We, all of us are associated with a veteran at some point or not in our lives, either whether it's your husband or your uncle or your aunt, or, so everyone's invited. They have friends, and so they'll invite them as well. So their foot into the door is to buy a ticket, and you don't even have to know anybody that's a veteran there. I mean,
Right.
you can come as a guest. So that works out.
Well, you hear from her. Good. I mean, some people feel kind of out of play because they're their new family, and they're there's a lot of reasons why people are. I never heard it until now. I mean, so and getting part when I was part of the Lion Club, I didn't know there was so much veteran service community involvement. So that's really opened my eye. What's really going on in the community. So it gave me an opportunity to, wait a minute, how come I never heard of that a long time ago, and yet they still exist? How long? 5 years?
I've been as president only a couple of years, but the events.
How long did the community, the club. I mean,
The American Legion Auxiliary.
How long has it been here in Stockton?
Stockton,
Yeah.
well, at least
For many, many years.
40 years, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Over
See,
40 years.
I did
at
not know about this.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
something
I
people need
used to hear about the auxiliary many years ago, and the Karl Ross Post and veterans, the VFW and the other veteran organizations. They've been here in Stockton probably since right after the war.
Yeah, probably. I remember back in 1968 when my sister got married, we had her wedding reception there.
Oh, really? Wow, that's good.
Was that at the VFW? I mean, at
Karl
the American
Ross.
Legion Hall?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
my
like,
goodness.
yeah. We had a little band and everything.
See, now I have a father who's still living, 96 years old, World War II veteran, but can't get him out of the house. So I have to do everything myself.
Yeah, yeah. That's a. Well, listen, we have another couple of other fundraisers, and one was a Stockton Heat hockey, which we have in Stockton. Those are our hockey team, and we have a Stockton Ports. They have a night that they dedicate to Military Appreciation Night. And we already had our hockey game, which that was a lot of fun. We get a small stipend from every ticket we sell, so that's one of our fundraisers. And not only that, it's just a lot of fun to go with your family. I know my 9-year-old grandson, he's all happy because he can scream and holler and everything without somebody saying, be quiet. You know, he's having a blast.
Is that for the hockey game?
That's
or
for the
baseball
hockey game.
Okay.
Now, we'll have our Stockton Ports game coming up on Saturday, September 2nd, here in Stockton at 7:10 in the evening. It's $13 a ticket. If you're interested, contact us. We'll sell you a ticket. But I know I have to return my unsold tickets by this Wednesday. But again, it's a evening of hanging out with a family and a beautiful way to end the summertime with a ports
And
game.
what was the date again?
Saturday, September 2nd.
Okay, now, those who, like, anything that the person can go to the door, to the ticket booth and request, okay, I'm here for the American Legion, but can you sell the ticket or not?
He did not leave that option for me. So unfortunately, I don't believe that can be done. That's why I had to get the tickets in advance so that I would sell them and we would get the credit. So I don't believe you can do that. Yeah.
Well, I remember before when I went in our organization, I bought the ticket at the ticket booth requesting that they receive the money. So
Okay.
I think you have to, I think you have to sell. I'll ask for it, but
yeah.
that'd be $13. It's gonna be on the east side or the left side.
We're on section 114 and 113. Yeah, actually, we're going 113 is the one we're trying to fill up first.
Oh, wow, awesome.
What sections?
113.
113?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the tickets are $13, and we get, like I said, we get a small amount donated to our organization, to the ALA.
Very good.
And now the final one of our biggest fundraisers is our Christmas Boutique. Our Christmas Boutique is so much fun. The first year we had it was a little slow, to say the least.
Yes.
And as this will be our fourth one we're having in December, and we already have people who are asking to get in line to buy a vendor space to be in the Christmas Boutique.
Now, where do you hold that?
At the Post, at the Karl Ross Post.
And what is the address?
2020 Plymouth Road in Stockton,
California.
95204.
Yes.
Right?
And it's right off of Highway
It's off of I-5, and Country Club.
and Country Club
On Plymouth Road.
on Plymouth Road.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Hidden back
behind
there.
some trees and stuff, but if you get off on I-5 or come down Mount Diablo, is it? Or is it Country
No,
Club?
Country Club.
Country Club, okay. That's here in Stockton.
Yeah.
And right before I-5, the highway, you just turn to the left on the road.
If you're going west, where the sun, yes.
But
And
if you're
from
coming from the east, right after you go under I-5, you turn
right.
to the right.
you can see the post from the I-5, the flags. We have the American flag and the POW flag and the California flag, always masted unless it's in the evening. They take them down, right, in the evening.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So the people like you're going too fast.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
it's okay.
sorry.
No, I'm gonna give. That's my job. Get back into. I need to go back and okay. When you're talking about the police, the Pope, a lot of people are not familiar with that.
Veterans
So
Post.
veteran and veteran knows all those terms, but people who are not a veteran need to kind of like, okay, what does that post mean? So it's on Country Club because it's right before the Country Club.
On
club.
I-5.
On the club on right at the end, or it's right before
The
that?
golf course?
No, not the golf course.
Okay.
It's actually I-5 and Country Club.
Okay.
Street. The street is called Country Club.
Got it. Okay.
So Country Club and I-5. So if you're going west
Okay, we're going west.
on Country Club, you're going to make a left onto Plymouth Road.
Toward Safeway.
No,
Toward what's that called? The car wash, the Chinese.
You know the St. Bernadette's across the street? That's a
Oh,
church.
that's Bernadette, yes.
Well,
Okay.
they're going to go. It's across. You're going to go across the street from it.
Oh, okay, got
Yeah,
it. Okay,
yeah.
with those apartments.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
There's some
okay.
apartments there.
Oh,
Correct.
Okay, so
yes.
right after the apartment is your office, right?
Is the
Well,
hall,
it's called the Post.
the post, the
and
Veterans
it's a
Post.
building that
American Legion
yeah,
It's called
the
the Post, but it's
American.
an office, okay? Where
Yeah.
they
There's an
hang
office
out.
in there. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
American Legion's building,
Is
but
that
they call
Ameri-
it the Post.
Okay. Well, okay, now you understand. I'm confused a little bit, but I'm trying to get back.
Good.
Okay, a post is a office, but still a post. Okay. Post. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
The
Thank
back to
you.
our boutique, we do have a really, everybody sets up their own vendor, and we have cookies and hot chocolate. We have a Santa Claus. We have music. And it's just a really fun afternoon to spend some money.
Does it for a vendor to set up a booth, more or less? Does it cost?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I think she may be charging $30 this year.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Nora
that's not bad.
is our coordinator. I co-host with her. I co-help her, but she's the major person. And as the years have gone by, we've gotten better and more organized in terms of what we do. So, but anyway, those are our major fundraisers, and those are things we have done in the past. And I think Mary is going to talk about the criteria for joining.
Yes. Or I can talk about what we did. Oh, here.
Let's put the mic a little bit closer to you because
Okay.
you girls talk soft.
The criteria for being a member of the Ladies Auxiliary, you have to have a relative that has served in the military, and he or she could be alive or deceased from World War I, World War II, Korea, Panama, Vietnam, the Gulf War, the war on terrorism, until all the hostilities are terminated. But we don't foresee that for a long time. Also, the Merchant Marines and the war on Lebanon and Grenada. And the veteran could be your mother, spouse, grandmother, sister, yourself, or a direct descendant, like a daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, and now most recently a stepmother or stepfather. And this veteran has to be honorably discharged. Okay. And just to back up a little bit about the mission statement, about the history. It's forgotten country, like Mary said earlier. We advocate for veterans. We educate our citizens. We mentor the youth and promote patriotism, good citizenship, and peace and security. The American Legion Auxiliary, ALA, have a strong presence in the communities nationwide, 8,600 units. Most at present, the national president is Mary Davis, and overall we do incredible work, volunteering helping nearly 1 million veterans. We're talking yearly. We contribute $17 million towards the veterans and their families.
Is that a year?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And volunteer 3.5 million hours to support our veteran programs.
Very good.
And we contribute $2 million to programs benefiting the children and youth, and of course the veterans. And we volunteer many, many hours, 312,000 hours for our active duty military.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
I totally, I got goosebumps. I'm overwhelmed by a lot of hours of
yes.
of time that you volunteer. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I putting in my hours, like when Connie asked me, how many hours you doing for your community for your Lion Club yet? I'm like, I did this.
Well, you got to let the audience know that you and I belong to the same Lions Club, Stockton San Joaquin Lions.
Excellent.
And anytime we're doing anything in the community to bring community together or awareness like we're doing today, or working with any other organization, we count those as hours. So like you've talked about the hours that the Women's Auxiliary has done, we do the same with the Lions. Yeah.
Well, now we're speaking of community involvement. I'll go through this a little bit. I know we like I said, we're a very active American Legion Auxiliary. We, for the last year and a half maybe, we have outreach to the Veterans Resource Center at Delta College. It's like it says, it's for our veterans, our students at Delta College, and we donate a modest monthly stipend for their food pantry. We also participate in some of their VRC meetings, Veterans Resource Center meetings, as ALA members, and we're constantly trying to remind them. We would love for them to join our post, of course, but students are students. They are busy. They're going to school. They are working full-time or part-time.
Right.
And often they are single parents or parents who have families. They have lots of obligations going on. And so we do always try to tell them that there is a post. We do have a post. We're there for them for camaraderie. But also the other thing is when they graduate, to always keep a post in mind. If it's not our post, wherever you end up, whatever city you end up in, always go to your post, because they've seen some of our generosity bestowed upon them as a student. We'd like them to pay it forward as well.
That's excellent.
And so we also involved, we have a scholarship for a female veteran at Delta College. It's a minor scholarship. It's about $200, but when you're a student, any amount matters.
Oh, $200?
$200 to buy
buy a book.
Maybe buy a book.
Maybe.
Yeah, and so we review the applications, and we select a worthy candidate.
So how do you select those candidates? Just the student that might not know, what are your selection process to, if it's a female veteran, that's one of the qualifications, has to be a female.
Absolutely.
For the American Legion Auxiliary, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so,
yes, sir.
They have to be 18. They have to be during the war. To be
we have
on active duty or whatever.
We have certain criteria, but the one that gives us their nominees would be Delta College themselves, and then they tell us why they feel this person is qualified, and we have a couple of, and then we go through it. We look at their applications, and we have some criteria. For a lot of it is that they have to be going back to Delta College. They can't be graduating.
So this is for Delta College.
This is Delta College veterans,
okay.
female
I
veterans.
I got confused. I thought you were talking about UOP
No,
veterans.
we don't work with UOP veterans right now. I mean, in terms of
scholarships.
Okay. Our dedication right now is to San Joaquin Delta College. We've been going to them for let me just back up a little, give you a little home style attitude toward them, I guess. In the beginning, there were about 4 or 5 of us, well, actually about 3 or 4 of us, that would go to Delta College, and we were kind of like their moms. We bring food, we bring chili beans, we bring a ham, we bring chicken, we bring rolls, we bring dessert. So every time we came, which was about once a month, they were just like, you guys are here, yeah, So we try to leave a good impression about what we do, and they were just so happy to have us there as the sort of the guardians. When,
giving them support.
And giving them support.
Right.
They love the smell of the food during the wintertime. So, but we found, oh gosh, that's really time consuming, and it was pretty expensive for all of us to cook for this, just 3 or 4 of us to cook for all those kids in the Veterans Resource Center. So we brought up the idea, well, listen, why don't we, plus we were giving them things for their pantry, why don't we think about a certain amount of money to allocate to their pantry, their food pantry. So that's what we voted on. We voted on, so now we don't have to do all the cooking anymore, and we know they have food in their pantry. And before we did this, I had the coordinator of the program, the Veterans Resource Program, write out a justification. I said, you have got to justify it to me so I can run this by the American Legion Auxiliary.
Right.
And so he wrote a beautiful justification. And even though one of the myths is that just because a veteran receives money for his education, his or her education, it doesn't encompass rent,
Exactly.
food, car insurance,
Right.
so they've got, they've got all those other outside expenses as well, including food. So a hungry vet is a poor student. So we want to make sure that they've got snacks, fresh fruit, things like that. So now the coordinator or the manager of the program, the VRC, he takes this money and sees it. He spends it as he sees fit for the pantry, and he meets their needs that way.
That's right.
And so,
Excellent.
So we do that from the ALA. Plus, we have an anonymous donor who matches that amount of money every month.
Do you
That's
also,
wow.
Do you keep? Did the women auxiliary go there and keep that? Well, like you said, you have someone who match it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go and check the accountability and make sure he's doing it right?
Here's what I say. You know these wonderful phones that we have nowadays?
Okay, yes.
I say, take a picture of the food every time you go shopping. I want to see pictures of the food. I want to see the pantry. And so I said, I need to justify this amount of money that we're spending every month to our ALA members.
Okay.
Right.
So he does that.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes some people take advantage of the system.
I hear you.
They don't know
Right.
that the student getting the food. Make sure. I mean,
Yeah.
something like that could, be kind of like red tape, kind of.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good idea. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and the kids, we go talk to the kids, and they'll verify. Oh, gosh, thank you. Oh, they'll be thankful. They'll thankful when they see us. They know who we are. They
Now,
know the ALA is
Mary,
there.
when you're talking about the pantry, is that located? Is it a room or is it a storage place or
it's a
a
little-
center on Delta College
Yes,
campus?
at the Veterans Resource Center, which is their own. They have their own office, computers, chairs. A beautiful. In fact, I guess it's been renovated maybe over the last couple of years. I'm so sorry, I'm talking too
That's
fast.
okay, I got it.
I get especially when I get excited about something.
That's a good topic.
So they have a really nice little kitchen area.
Oh, wonderful.
And so they stock it. We buy them soups. We'll buy soups. They'll buy fresh oranges, fresh bananas, fresh frozen items. They'll put them in the freezer for their students. And the students just know that's their home away from home. They know that they can grab a snack in between classes. And so that is always available to them from the American Legion Auxiliary. And I don't know if anybody else is helping to stock their pantry or not, but that is our obligation to them at this time.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So that's one of them. And then we always participate in Flag Day, the
Can
ALA.
you explain what Flag Day is?
You want to explain what Flag Day is?
Flag Day is in June.
June 14th.
June 14th, okay. And it's, of course, to honor our flag. And we have a ceremony, sometimes at the post, but the last couple of years we've had it on the parking lot of Lincoln Center. And they set up little booths in Stockton, California, yes. And also, a couple of years back, we found the veterans, the legionnaires, found a very, very old flag from the 1800s.
Oh, my.
It was in one of our storage rooms. And it's very fragile, and it's very old, and it's coming apart a little bit. And so they really have to handle it with care, otherwise it will fall apart, and it's worth thousands of dollars. Was that $3,000 or $4,000?
Is it the year
It
1835?
is 1835, I believe. Yes.
You're saying that it's been a parade for that worth of money of the
Yes,
flag?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And they found
It
it in
only
the
had
archives of the-
13 stars? Was there
Yeah,
only? There
yeah.
were only 13
It
stars.
was
so
at your
whenever
post?
it was in the storage shed.
Yeah, in the archives of our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my
Yes.
gosh.
all those
I know.
years,
It was a
nobody
big surprise. It was a big
have you
surprise.
taken it over to our museum here in Stockton to see if the curator can give you any advice about
I think Henry
protecting
did
it
that.
and-
My brother-in-law Henry Adame. He's on the color guard, honor guard, and he did a lot of research. A
But
lot
I mean,
of research.
how to protect it from
Yes,
deteriorating
yes,
any
yes.
further.
He used some kind of skin that you have to wrap it in,
Uh-huh.
so it would preserve it. And you can't really handle it with your hands. You're not supposed to handle it with your
You have
hands.
to use gloves.
They wear the gloves. Yes, yes. So it's been interesting. It's been
My
interesting
goodness.
about that. Yeah.
So if you can able, I remember a video from Facebook that you have something happening last week. I'm not sure it was last week that you announced. But anyway, if the flag that you think is possible, you have a lot of patriotic post on your post right there on video. So if the flag can be able to would you post it on the museum or to be displayed on your woman?
It's a possibility, but we haven't really talked about it. But we just want to keep it restored. Yes, yes. We want to be sure it doesn't get any worse.
So
it
that's
doesn't.
displayed. That
yeah.
was displayed out of the flag event.
Oh, my.
It came out of your post. I mean, it's good to have you guys to preserve it for future generation of women that be part of the member. And I think that's a wonderful. I think it's a gift from God. I mean, really,
it's awesome.
Put it on your own. And people who want to visit the post.
And we have to give credit to the Legionnaires because it is the Legionnaires' baby, so to speak.
Okay.
And the ALA, of course, always supports our veterans and whatever their endeavors are.
Okay.
So we go to their flag, to the flag event because it's all the flag of Americans of the United States of America, right? So we all go and support that event. Plus, they use that day also to turn in flags that no longer can be that are torn,
disposal.
that are ready to be disposed of. So our post will take those in on that particular date and
Dispose them the
properly.
correct way.
On
Yes.
Flag Day, right?
Yes,
Now-
yes, sir.
Yeah, here's the thing you haven't yet spoke about when you're talking about the post. Okay, you have the Women's Auxiliary. So what about Karl Ross Post 16, the veteran men?
The Legionnaires?
Can you explain who the Legionnaires are? Because you mentioned Legionnaires.
Oh, okay.
God
Okay.
bless it, but I thought this was all about ALA.
I know.
Yeah, but you work with them on many things too.
There are
Let's put this over.
because we are women. To a certain extent, we have the power of women in terms of thoughts and ideas.
Good.
So they always basically kind of come to us for their support. Wouldn't you think so, Mary?
Yes, they do.
If we're going to be raising any money at their events, they have their own events, and I don't want to really go into it because we don't have the time because we have a lot of our own stuff.
Just know about yours.
But they have their own events, and we back them up 100%. Whether we're taking tickets, selling tickets, serving food, decorating.
Oh, wonderful.
So we help. That's how we help them in terms of reaching into the community or having an event.
Well, now
Yeah.
before we're getting pretty close to ending the program. One of the things, Mary, I would like you to talk about is a few weeks ago here in Stockton, thanks to the Karl Ross Post 16, and a lot of that was done. Work was done by Mary's husband.
Yes.
They brought the Vietnam moving wall here to Stockton. It had not been here for over 9 years, correct?
That's correct.
And so I'm going to let Mary tell you about the moving wall. And I was there as a volunteer working, and many other people were volunteers. Doug was there for a while. He was helping with sign language and volunteering. And it was a spectacular, absolutely spectacular event. So, Mary, please tell us about it.
Okay. We had the Vietnam Moving Wall in 2008, and it was very well attended. And the moving wall is the replica of the one they have in Washington, D.C. It has 58,319 names. So, and it takes a long time to reserve it. So, as soon as that wall left at that time, we reserved it. Well, my husband and a couple of other people reserved it so we could get it back. So, last October, my husband got a letter, and he said he didn't open it for a couple of days. I said, honey, why haven't you opened this letter? And he goes, well, I'm trying to take a deep breath because I know I'm nervous about it, he says, and there's a lot of planning, and so I have to sit down and start planning it. So, but he did open it up, and so they decided.
You were accepted.
Yes, yes. And let's see, it was erected in June 29th through July 3rd. It comes with 42 panels, and they're made out of 42 panels, huge panels, and I believe they're made out of granite, and they have to be set up. And of course, we have a couple, a man and wife. They come with the big truck, and they travel all around the United States. And the volunteers, the Legionnaires, and other people from the community, and the Ladies Auxiliary, and the VFW, which is the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Yes. The DAV is the Disabled American Veterans. It was a veteran organization. It was a collaboration, and the first panel was being set up. As the first panel was being set up, the volunteers, which were some community agencies, and also the Ladies Auxiliary, and we start naming the names. We have to name all the names, reading the names, yes. And it's very emotional. It's very sad, but still at the same time, it's very educational, because they don't have this in the history books. They don't have the history of the Vietnam War or the civic program in the high schools, in the schools. So we have to educate our youth, because they're going to need to take over all this history that we have and during the wars. And so that's another reason why we have this wall. And actually, it costs $9,000 plus. So the city of Stockton donated that, and also other people, other agencies in the community. Do you have that?
And there was also donations from people visiting. They had 2 donation boxes, and people were so happy to leave something, and they were so appreciative that the wall was there. And
thank you.
I worked with Mary, and I worked at the information table. At the information table, we had a very large book with every name that was on the wall, and people would come and ask where was their loved one or their friend on the wall, and so we would tell them what panel and what row the name was. And it was quite an experience talking to so many veterans and veterans' families, and hearing their stories for all 6 days that we were there.
And along those lines, it says, one of the questions we were going to talk about who benefited from it. I just want to make sure we get this in, because it is important to find out who benefited from it, because it wasn't only the veteran themselves that benefited from this by being able to honor and respect the name they were looking for on the wall. Like I said, we had a lot of volunteers, including what you just mentioned, what your experience was at the information desk. We had the planning committee, the readers, the security detail, volunteers who laid out the foundation for the parade before the panels before the panels could even be put up. There had to be a foundation laid down by all these guys that were doing that. Let's see, the volunteers who wiped down the panels. My girlfriend and I, that's what we did. We wiped down all the panels when it first came out. It was a little warm, but we got it done, and somebody came over and took over and did the other half, which was, thank goodness they did that. But the escorts who helped visitors find their beloved veterans, I'm sorry, the name on the wall, the escorts who listened attentively to the visitor's story of why they were there. The generation who came to visit the wall out of curiosity to see what it was all about. The grandchildren who have a grandparent who fought in the Vietnam conflict. The readers of all the names, the high school youth who participated in the event, and their choir director from Edison High School, Mel Sugatan, who led them in patriotic music dedicated to our veterans in America. So my observation from all of this, and I even told this to her husband, the veterans and all these people that I just mentioned,
Right.
we put our heart and soul and the expectation of receiving this wall under our care, under our watch, was so exciting, and yet at the same time a little bit scary, because we're responsible for these 58,319 veterans, of which 69 were Stocktonians. We were responsible for that. So that was heavy on us. That was heavy on our shoulders.
It's a burden.
It's a burden. It was heavy on our shoulders. It was a great responsibility. But we did it with all these people help. We did it with them. And then when the wall left,
That was sad.
it was just as,
Oh,
it was
yes.
sad. I watched it. I videoed it leaving.
Yeah.
You know, and I know, because we had to decompress. We were all up here, 10, 10, 10, doing this, doing that, expecting that wall, taking care of that wall. And then when it left, we were like,
Yeah, when they started taking
know.
each panel down,
Yeah.
I was there,
Yeah.
Mary was there, you were there,
Yeah.
and so many other volunteers,
Yeah.
and it was just, it's like something leaving
Part of
your
you left,
heart.
part of you left.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
It was
we've
a
been there
grieving
with it
process.
for over 6 days or more, and my goodness.
Now, I know we're getting kind of close, and I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to Rick Demas. He was the Army veteran. He's a Vietnam veteran
Yes,
as well.
he-
I read. I got.
You were up there?
The paper that
Yes.
I got. That's when I got overwhelmed with that.
Well,
His letter. Oh my God, it was.
He gave me a copy of his speech, which we're not going to read today. We don't have time for this. But I said, Rick, what can you recommend that I read when we're on the radio today? Just a little bit. And
Oh,
he goes,
that's wonderful.
So I said, what would you like to read? So he recommended 2 excerpts. Here's
Slowly.
one of them.
Slowly.
I will slowly read
Okay.
it. Okay.
Go ahead.
They,
Put right here?
right here.
What's your letter about?
This is, he called it Good Morning Vietnam Veterans, okay? And he talks about his experience and the Vietnam veterans' experience in general when they were in Vietnam. And like I said, when he was reading it, I can relate to it because my husband has told me the same things, and I'm sure I know Tino has shared that information with his wife. And I've heard several stories over. So when Rick read it, if anybody knew what he was reading about, you would identify with what he was reading about and feel what he was saying, even though his voice was really gravelly that day because he was so tired and working so hard. But this is what he said, part of it. They who gave their lives and those of us who survived learned to face death each day. It was around us. We slept in it. We washed in it. We breathed it. And it penetrated us to the very marrow of our bones. It came at any hour, in darkness or the light. It came in the sunshine or the rain, open fields, or the deep shadowy jungle. Mostly it was hideous, vulgar, degrading, inhumane, but it was what we lived, and many of us died. We learned that death was something that was part of life itself, and we must face it. That was one insightful paragraph from his presentation. And then the last one, because there's a lot of them, excuse me.
That's okay.
Today, our ranks are thinning. An estimated 390 Vietnam veterans are dying daily. And most from Agent Orange and its byproducts are some of the culprits: cancer, heart disease, the abuse of self-medication, drug, alcohol, and the wounds of war. Johnny Brooks, who was a native Stocktonian,
Right.
was wounded in 1969 and succumbed to his wounds a few years ago. His name is now on the Vietnam Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. So those were 2 of the paragraphs that Rick thought were important to read, and there's so much that he did regarding, in the beginning he acknowledges his family, his wife, his children, everybody that supported him when he came home, because they had a hard time transitioning
Yes, they
back
did.
into mainstream society, and particularly because they were not welcomed home the way
Right.
we welcome home our vets now. So when he read this, it's beautiful. And I'm hoping.
I know, I was
I had
there.
a whole of that copy that night.
Yeah.
And not only that, Mary, Tino
Yes. Oh, Tino.
was
Yeah.
the one that told me that it's really important that you do that the 4th of July celebration. To remember the veteran, what did the freedom mean, what liberty mean, what sacrifice they went through
Yeah.
to get to this country the way it is. So anyway, we're closing out of time. The few seconds, can anyone contact you if you want want to more volunteer or anything like that?
Well,
They can come
Mary
post.
Adame is in charge of membership for American
Okay.
Legion Auxiliary.
This is your website.
Oh, do you want to read our website?
Yes. The American Legion Post is located on 2020 Plymouth Road in Stockton, California, and the phone number is 463-7982. 463-7982, and that's 209. Also, our website is www.ala4, which is FOR, veterans.org. So it's www.ala4 veterans veterans.org. And thank you so much for all your support and
Okay,
prayers.
thank you.
Yes, I want to thank you too, and I want the viewers to realize that almost in every city there should be a women's auxiliary. These ladies are representing the women's auxiliary here in Stockton, California. So you can probably look in the phone book and or online and find where your ladies or women's auxiliary is in your cities or states. Thank you very much, Mary, for being our guest today. And
Thank you for having us. We
Oh.
appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you.
definitely.
Yes, we are honored.
Yeah, I'm honored for you guys who came. Thanks for everyone for watching our Doug Vigil Show, The Voice of Stockton, KXVS. Thank you so much for watching.